Welcome to the Fabulous Fifties and Beyond. I'm Jim Pollard, your co-host, with my wife, Janetta. Today we're going to be talking about one of the very important services here in McCracken County, Paducah, Kentucky. We're going to be talking about the Family Services Center. Our guest today is Pam Truitt. You stay tuned and we'll be right back.
And he'd say, go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Get in the race, keep your own pace, keep moving and never stop. Just go, go with what you got.
Welcome back. I'm Jim Pollard, your co-host. Our guest today is Pam Truitt, Executive Director of Family Services. Is that Family Services of Paducah?
It's Family Service Society.
Society, okay.
Yes.
And you've been around a long time. Not you, but the
Yeah.
How many years? I was looking on the website.
The agency has been around since 1927.
That's what I thought.
Yes, we are actually not affiliated with any state organization. We are a local nonprofit agency that started here in Paducah. Back in 1927, there were some business leaders who saw some needs here in the community, and they set out to form an agency or a group to help take care of some of those needs. So we've been around for 85 years now.
And that agency's been through some big things. I'm thinking the 37 flood.
Absolutely, absolutely. And most recently, the ice storm and the flooding of last year in the spring.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, we had it bad
So
when
that's
the
yes.
show was here.
Yes.
That's some big things. Well, that's interesting. Well, Pam, it's good to have you back. You know, we've had you here before, but I know that your needs are constant.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not like you can have a big drive and get everything you need and don't have to worry about it for a year. Your turnover, I mean, because as we've been there from time to time, we see people bringing sacks of groceries out or bringing clothes out or different things. And so we know that your needs are constant and ongoing.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we need to talk about. How do you determine who you service?
Well, we actually serve residents of Paducah, McCracken County who are in need of crisis resources. Now, a crisis can mean different things to different people, but some of the services that we do provide are food assistance. We also do clothing assistance, utility assistance with utilities, dental, medications. So whenever someone comes to us, especially if it's for financial assistance with like a utility bill, what we want to see is proof of income and proof of their living expenses, because what we're trying to determine is that there is a financial need for that service. And it also helps us just to refer them to other resources when we look at all that information together collectively. And something too, Jim, that's really unique about the location of where our office is, we're located at 827 Joe Clifton Drive, which is right across from Cardinal Point Shopping Center. And in the area where we're at, there are a lot of housing developments in that area. Obviously, transportation is an issue here in Paducah, and so we get a lot of people who walk to our agency. So if someone's coming in from, say, West Paducah to get assistance, our agency would be one of the first ones, would be one of the closest ones to them as well. So, you know, on average in a month, we typically serve on average about 175 households each month with grocery assistance. That's not including the clothing closet that we do or any utility assistance, medications, or any of the dental things that we do.
So actually you are like a full service agency then?
Well, we offer quite a few services, yes. We also, another seasonal program that we do is Christmas assistance. We provide food assistance at Christmas to people who do have a financial need and may not be able to have the food stamps or the money to be able to buy their own Christmas dinner. So we do that. Last year we served 400 households with the Christmas assistance program.
That's a lot.
It is, yes.
And especially when you think about these people wouldn't have it at Christmas time if you didn't
Sure.
help them with it.
Sure, and you know, I think I actually started with Family Service Society in 2008, and you know, if we can kind of rewind and think about what was going on in 2008, that's whenever the stock market kind of started to take a downturn, and we started hearing the word recession a lot in the news. And it was really scary there for a moment. And Thanksgiving of 2008, I walked into our food pantry and the walls were almost completely bare. I actually took a picture and started emailing that around to people that were just on my contact list saying, you know, we need help, because it was really getting scary trying to figure out how we were going to still be able to serve people with just a few cans of tuna fish. And our community is very generous. They really reached out to come out and help us, and so we filled that pantry up just within a matter of days. But as we were talking, Jim, of course, you know, during the holidays, I think most of the time donors think about giving during that time of year, but in reality, we need food year-round. When we're typically the most taxed in that food pantry is during when the summer months, when school is out. You know, if you think about a child receiving breakfast or lunch at school, and then during the summer months, that household is providing those 2 meals. So sometimes it's a little bit harder on the family to be able to supply that, and so they may need some groceries just to help supplement them through that month.
Oh, one of the things that we've become aware of is that this is a giving area. Those who have, they will give, but you kind of have to challenge them and let them know what the needs are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I think shows like this that you've invited me to today, that is such a great outlet for us to be able to tell the community what our needs are.
Well, thank you. I know I was reading an article about one of the artists that come into Lower Town, and he said he was amazed at what a giving community that this was.
Absolutely.
But like you said, you have to let them know that there is a need.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we want to. Actually, you sent me a list because I asked for it. Some of what your current special needs are, and I can see the top of the list is crackers.
Yes, yes. You know, we do get food in. We get a large boost in January from the Christmas in the Park. So we are one of the recipients who receive that food. And we've got a tremendous amount of canned goods right now, which is great. Unfortunately, that will not last us for very long. But, you know, other things such as, you know, dried food items, things like crackers, cereal, pasta, rice, dried beans, those types of things. We like to be able to give those out in addition to canned goods.
You know, and a lot of things that are on this list that you sent, I don't do a lot of the shopping, but I do some. And I was telling her the other day, because we eat a lot of crackers at our house. And I was looking at a box of crackers, and they were $1.57. And I remember a year ago I was paying $1 for them. You know,
inflation.
Prices have jumped incredibly.
And I think as we see the gas prices go up, we're going to continue to see food prices and other things go up too.
Sure, because they have to cover the cost of bringing it to us.
Absolutely.
And cereal is something that you used to could buy reasonably priced, and it's gone sky high.
Absolutely.
You know, and you can get the milk pretty reasonable, but you can't get the cereal anymore.
Absolutely.
And these are something, and I'm sure that when people go to the grocery store, they take all this in consideration.
Absolutely.
Well, some of the other things I noticed you had was the box dinners. You know,
Yeah,
like
anything like macaroni
helper.
and cheese, hamburger helper, something that can be made into maybe like a one skillet meal type thing. And you know, even though we need these items, I think it's also important to know that monetary donations help us as well.
Right.
We are able to purchase food through the Purchase Area Development District. They have a Second Harvest and a Feeding America program, and we can purchase items through them for 19 cents per pound. So sometimes we can get, you know, a case of crackers for, you know, less than $2 or $3, but depending on how much they weigh.
Right.
You know, sometimes we can purchase those items a lot cheaper than someone can go out and buy them or or gather them at the
So-
grocery store. So even monetary donations obviously help us as well.
Because you can make it actually go farther.
Absolutely. You know, at 19 cents per pound, goodness, you know, you can
There's-
buy
I don't know if
1,000
anything
pounds
we can buy for that.
Absolutely,
No, no.
absolutely.
Well, I'm going to ask this question out of the blind because I don't know. Do you have any type of a education program to where you can teach these people how to cook or how to prepare?
Well, actually, we do we have a partnership with the McCracken County Cooperative Extension Office, and the partnership that they do is actually come in and do a Money Matters class on budgeting. But they also offer so many other types of resources for nutrition and just being healthy. Making healthy food choices and just leading a healthy lifestyle. And so we encourage them to, you know, let our individuals know that those are available, and they give us throughout the year information about different types of programs that they're having there. Because, you know, obesity, as we've all probably heard most recently in the news, that, you know, our nation as a whole, we're more and more, getting more and more unhealthy.
Right.
And so, you know, the things that we eat and, you know, our activities, sometimes those play a part in that.
Well, and the reason I ask that question is because I know that a lot of times if you give, and not necessarily a real young, but a young mother or a young couple certain types of food, they wouldn't know how to prepare them.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, that
If
we
they
see
can't
that.
open the can and pour them in
Absolutely.
a pot, they don't know what to do with them.
Absolutely.
And so I just didn't know whether that was available or not to teach them. The old word would be home ec, I guess.
Sure, sure, absolutely. And the Family and Consumer Sciences agent at the McCracken County Cooperative Extension Office, she has so many just really neat and wonderful programs there. One that I've heard her talk about was a crock pot
Right.
cooking, which is great because, you know, you can fix it and leave it, and when you come
Right.
home from work
It's
or
ready.
whatever, it's ready. So,
Yeah, that's wonderful.
yes.
Okay, we've covered the first half now. We want to take a break here for just a minute.
Okay.
And you stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Diseases will be cured here. A new form of energy will be discovered here. And here, the first flight to Mars will be launched. From inside this room, the latest social media craze will be created, as will the most downloaded song of all time. And in here, the next blockbuster 3D movie will be made. Because great futures start here. It's where the Boys and Girls Clubs, in partnership with Microsoft and Comcast, are teaching kids computer skills in a program called Club Tech. It's just another way we're helping millions of students succeed today, tomorrow, and beyond.
Welcome back to the Fabulous Fifties. My name is Jim Pollard. My co-host is my wife, Janetta, and our guest today is Pam Truitt. We're talking about the Family Services Society located here in Paducah, Kentucky. We're going to talk about something real interesting now, something that I did not know anything about until we started talking about this show, and it's called the Lourdes Paducah Iron Mom Half Marathon.
Yes.
Now, since I know nothing about it, you're going to have to talk about it.
Okay. Well, last year was the inaugural year of the event, and what it is, it's a half marathon on the Saturday before Mother's Day. You don't have to be a mother to run like a mother, is what we say. It's open to men, women, and you can choose to run the 13.1 miles, which is a half marathon, or you can also enter it as a team, either a 2 or 4 person team. So this event really is for anybody. It can be for a walker or even your most experienced runner. If you're not sure you can run a full 13.1 miles, then maybe you can get a few friends together and do either a 2 or 4 person relay team. But it starts at the foot of Broadway, and it goes throughout Paducah, and it ends back at the flood wall. And it's just a beautiful course. Last year we had to move the date, the first date, because of the flooding, which postponed our event until Father's Day weekend. But we had almost 700 runners last year, and the event raised more than $20,000 for our agency, which is tremendous for us. If you're interested in either doing a team or wanting to run yourself, we have a website. It's called PaducahIronMom.com. We also need volunteers to help us with the event as well. It took over 100 volunteers last year to help us pull that event off. And if anybody's interested in volunteering, they can also go to that website and click on the volunteer link on that website.
Since you're asking for volunteers, we don't want them to be asking in the blind. What are some of the things that they'll be doing?
That's a very good question. Some of the things that we will have volunteers doing could be handing out water at a water station as the runners go by. We also need people at different intersections on the course because it's not a closed course, which means traffic might be going crossways. And so we would need volunteers maybe to help us monitor traffic and just, allowing the motorists to know, there's people running, please be aware of that. And then we just have various different opportunities for the volunteers, even for packet pickup or the day of the event, maybe helping us with some of the food, the post-race food items that we have. So we had over 100 volunteers last year helping us with that.
All right. Is it strictly a running event?
We have runners and walkers both.
Okay, but I mean, what little I know about Ironman events, I mean, that gets into 3 and 4 different types of things that they do sometimes.
Sure.
But you won't be doing the bicycle or the water.
No, this is strictly just running, walking. Okay. And the course, the actual event begins at 6:30 on May the 12th. And the course will be open for 4 hours, or we will be supporting that course for 4 hours. So basically that means if you can do 3 miles in an hour, most people could walk 3 miles pretty easily within an hour, then you have a pretty good chance of finishing that course.
What are the fees?
At this time, it's $55 per single person, and then depending on the size of the team, I can't really tell you off the top of my head what the team prices are, but there is going to be a price increase on April the 15th. So if anybody's interested in taking part in that, there will be a rate increase on April the 15th to encourage people to sign up early for registration.
Tax day.
Tax day, yes ma'am.
Well, that's fantastic that they raised $20,000 last year.
Absolutely.
Now, is that all they raised, or was just your portion?
That was our portion of the proceeds. Of course, with the first year event, there are some expenses that come along with that. But Rehab Associates, Mark Vance with Rehab Associates and Amy Peel with Go Performance, they have been just absolutely wonderful with organizing the event for us. Cindy Medford, who is with the City of Paducah, she is actually the brain behind the Iron Mom, and wanted to do it to benefit an agency, and they picked us last year, and we've been just grateful to have that support from the community.
Are you the only agency that benefits from it?
At this time, yes, we're the only agency.
Well, that's good. That's
Yes.
really good that it is, and that it raises that amount of money, especially in the
Yes.
first year.
Absolutely.
So-
Fundraising is a hard thing to do. So
Yes, it is.
It is. And there's a lot of work and time involved in the organizing and planning of it. And the people that I've mentioned, Mark Vance, Amy Peel, Cindy Medford, they have all put a tremendous amount of work and effort into planning this event. Now, I really feel that it's a top-rate, first-class event. We have people at this point registered from 10 different states that are coming in to run. And it's getting a lot of exposure. A lot of other races are seeing it, and asking to advertise their race to
That's
our
good.
runners. So yeah.
Are there other Iron Mom races?
The idea of Iron Mom is specific to just this area,
That's
to
what I was
Paducah.
really asking,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Cindy Medford, who's with the city of Paducah, she came up with that idea. She had run a half marathon a few years ago, and she thought, you know, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And she had such a desire to do one locally because I think she had run in the St. Jude half marathon in Memphis, and noticed all these people from Paducah who were willing to travel to run in this half marathon, and thought, wow, I wonder what would happen if we planned an event like that in Paducah. And we did, and wow, we got such a tremendous response. And
So you said last year was your first year?
last year was our first year.
Well, I mean, to do well the first year
Absolutely.
is really good.
In an economy that is struggling too.
You're right.
So, and then you had asked earlier, if we offered any kind of education for, health education, food, that type of thing. We feel that this program, the Iron Mom, it's promoting people to get out and be active. There's nothing that says you have to run it in an hour and a half. You can run it in 4 hours or walk it in 4 hours, but it's just getting out and moving, and we're happy to be promoting that.
I think it's a unique idea to come up with one, and then to start it here.
Sure.
Even makes it that much more, and maybe you can franchise it.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Oh,
so,
really?
yeah, we'd love to be able to do that.
Yeah, and then have in other areas, but actually get a little something off of the franchising of it for your agencies here. So last year you had 700.
Absolutely. And that's men and women both. And just because, don't let the name fool you. Don't let Iron Mom fool you. People may know a mother, have a mother that they want to memorialize or tribute or just honor, and may want to run for somebody that they love. But that's the reason why we have it for Mother's Day weekend, is to really spotlight the mothers.
And we were talking earlier, you said you've got already over 350 people?
That's correct at this point. So, and we're still a month away from our date. So we're hoping for around 800 participants this year.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
That is really fantastic. Let's give them the name and address and phone number of your agency again. He'll put it up on the board, but they need to know that.
Okay. We are located at 827 Joe Clifton Drive, and our phone number is 270-443-4838.
And you're across from Cardinal Point Center.
Across from Cardinal Point Shopping
But you're
Center.
between Bike World and Pizza Inn.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, in the old Captain D's building.
Yeah,
so a lot
yeah.
of people remember that.
With the blue roof.
With the blue roof. Yes, that's
That's
us.
the way I identify it.
Yes, that's
is the,
us.
is the blue roof. Well, that's fantastic. And again, how is your clothing right now? You got pretty much.
Clothing, we're doing pretty well right now. We always struggle with men's clothing, though.
Really?
Always men's clothing, yes. And Jim, I think the reason for that is the ladies kind of like to keep up with the fashions and the styles, and I think guys tend to hang on to their clothing a little bit longer. So we need clothing, and a lot of times people will say, well, I've got these jeans, but they're not, they're not the best. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people might need a good pair of work jeans, or
Well,
a good pair of jeans.
People pay big bucks for jeans
Absolutely,
that
that are ripped.
I don't consider.
Yes, absolutely.
That are torn.
But if somebody's needing some clothing to work in, jeans that you normally would do yard work in, that's fine too. Shoes is another thing. Men's shoes is another thing that we always like to get. But the men's clothing is an area that we often struggle in. We don't get as much of that in as we do the women's or the children's clothing.
Well, see, that's something that I didn't know.
Yes.
Well, but you just think about it. My closet has a whole lot more clothes than his does.
Absolutely, and mine has more than my husband's. So.
And mine has.
And shoes.
I've been trying to get rid of
But
some
I need to
of
go
it.
through mine. I'll go through mine again. Is what I'll do then. We just need to know that. And the public needs to know that.
Sure.
And you'll take. See, I think another thing that we might need to make our audience mindful of is a lot of women they hold on to their husband's clothes forever after they die.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, the closet will be full. They're not doing anybody any good. And they just go in there and clean them out and bring them to you, right?
Sure, absolutely. We'd be happy to have them.
Yeah, and that's something to think about, that they need to think about.
And another thing too, Jim, with our clothing, we do not sell it. We open the clothing room 2 days a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and people who have a need for clothing can come in and get, right now it's up to 5 outfits per person in their household, and we do not charge for that. So if someone has a need, and sometimes we might get a referral from the Red Cross where someone's had a burnout or even a flood. You know,
And
last spring we had quite a few of those flood referrals where people had to leave their homes.
And they need a lot of clothes.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, but we don't sell our clothing.
And if they've been hanging and they're musty smelling, you wash them and
Well, we don't wash them, but we, you know,
Clean 'em.
we try to,
Yeah.
we prefer that they come in
I understand
clean, but you know, and slightly used,
Right.
but you know, bring them on.
good. Well, I want to go over this list one more time of the food needs, especially crackers, pasta, dried beans, cereal, cookies, and box mixes, macaroni and cheese, hamburger helper, stuffing mix, stuff like
Sure,
that.
absolutely.
And then let's also remember the Paducah Iron Mom Half Marathon, and that's on May the 12th. They need to be registering now.
Absolutely.
And they can go to the website, www.paducahIronMom.com.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
I think we've covered it.
We're out of time.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
great.
it's
Thank
been
you
great
for
having
me.
you with us.
Thank you.
And always good information, and we want to help all that we can. You remember to watch our show every week. We'll try to have a new show for you every week, something new and exciting that's going on, or a way that you can become involved in our community. Remember now, use it or lose it.
Can't see as well as I used to. Can't run as far or as fast. Sometimes I think that the old me is becoming exactly that. But when I start thinking of all I don't have, that's when I tell poor me Beethoven was 50 and deaf as a post when he wrote his Ninth Symphony. And he'd say, go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Get in the race. Keep your own pace. Keep moving and never stop. Just go